It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for action in the Indy Open Series. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gonzo, and welcome to Race First coverage, sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups of Round 9 of the Indy Open Series Championship, coming to you today from Barber Motorsports Park in northern Alabama. Joining me, God, if I could talk only today, I think it's I'm blaming the snow. That's what I'm doing. I'm blaming the snow. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth today, he is my IndyCar teammate and regular participant in the Indy Fix Series. And where he's at, there is no snow. Coming to us live from Mexico City, please welcome Antonio Estrada. So, Antonio, thanks for being with us for another week. We're back to it's been kind of let's put it this way, it's been kind of a weird week in IndyCar racing here on the service. Of course, we've been in northern Alabama all week. Fixed has been at Talladega. Open has been here at Barber Motorsports Motorsports Park. And I guess after a week at Fuji, coming back to a place that's a little bit more familiar road-wise to these guys is a little bit more welcoming. What is it like for you coming from a track that you really haven't raced at back to a track that you're a lot more familiar with? It's probably like a breath of fresh air, isn't it?
It sure is, Gary. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, for sure. Once you we went to some pretty much unknowns for all these drivers, and now going back to the familiarity of Barber, since pretty much all of these guys have driven around here multiple times, since it's very traditional, if you say IndyCar race cars, and it's a lot of fun to drive around this place. It's a tricky one also. I mean, it's not necessarily something that you're going to be able to nail the first time you're here, because there are so many elevation changes. It's tight, it's fast, and I think we're gonna see a lot of vying for position and maybe a little bit of pace difference, since I don't think this one did a split. No, it didn't. So
we got one split.
Traffic's gonna be interesting. There aren't very many passing opportunities in this track. You can say that turn 5, that's gonna be the main one, of course, and you can, well, as we've said multiple times, you can make any corner a passing zone, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna be easy to do. So yeah, a lot of it is keeping up the momentum of the car, trying to make sure that you don't downshift unnecessarily, and just go from there. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Plus, like you were saying, I don't have any snow, and I'm sure they wouldn't have any snow at Barber either.
No. Although I have family that lives down in that neck of the woods, and I understand that if they do get snow down there, it pretty much shuts down that part of the country. But 3 minutes, 20 seconds, 25 seconds or so here left in qualifying provisionally. We have Dory on the pole with a 106.013. So that reminds me, here's all of the IndyCar track records you need to know from Barber. The qualification track record set by Pato O'Ward here with a time of 1 minute, 6 seconds, .097, set in 2021. And really, Dory's time, that's faster than the track record right there. So these IR18s obviously have taken very well to this course. The active wins leaders here are Joseph Newgarden with 3. He leads all drivers. And Will Power, Ryan Hunter-Ray each have 2. Hey, fast fact, as we are watching Scott Dixon on his march to get to A.J. Foyt's record, this is one of the few tracks remaining on the IndyCar schedule that Scott Dixon has never won at yet. So maybe we see some bit of history here in the future when IndyCar comes here, when Scotty D gets a win here. But until then, he is 0-4 at this track. So we still have about 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. And what are you seeing out there? We got Dory, Ike, Craig, Piazza, and David in our top 5. Got a lot of guys that are doing double duty. Actually have on another channel right now watching Open Wheels 500 qualifications. So some of these guys have been jumping between the sessions. It's almost like the old days during the split when drivers would rush between the two series. But once again this week we do have kind of a conflict. But speaking of, next week we will not have the conflict. And we want to remind everybody that next week, the top split race, the top split broadcast, for the week, instead of Saturday, will be moved to Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on Race First. You don't have to change anything. Keep your subscription here. Click the bell. You'll be reminded exactly of when this race is getting ready to start. But 7 p.m. Eastern time on November 18th, we will have the top split here. That will free up all of these drivers for the next day and for that huge race that's coming up in the Open Wheel 500. And right now, my understanding is they have a lot more cars than there are positions to be qualified for, because they're only going to do, of course, the traditional 33. So I would imagine there's going to be a lot of bumping into the evening here in the IndyCar community on iRacing. 55 seconds remaining here, and I think just about everybody is parked in the pits, with the exception, I see Zach Huber out there. And we should give Zach a shout out. Zach on the Discord server says, hey, you should also make mention of the points leaders in Division 2. And I'm like, okay, well, we haven't done that in a while. So I started looking and I saw the points for the Division 2 drivers. And guess who's leading the Division 2 points championship?
Let me guess.
So a little self-service for Zachary Hubler, who is your leader in the Division 2 championship, and we will get to all of that stuff here shortly, as we are 15 seconds away from gridding up.
Yeah, Hubler has been doing a fantastic job in these races. He's been with the leaders most of the time, so it's no surprise to me that he's leading that Division 2 championship, and it's probably by a good margin here.
Okay. And it looks like Christian Hilgard, one of our front row sitters last week, did not get a chance to complete a time. They're starting to line up here, and we should probably get today's starting lineup read real quick. We'll have a full lap here. It's a 2.3 mile circuit, so we'll have plenty of time to get this lineup read for you. So let's get into it here.
All right, with a blazing fast time. On the pole position, it's Doriano Ricciuti, the 106.0. Joining him in the front row, it's going to be Kevin Burrell with a 106.1. Then we find Andreas Eick with a 106.1 as well, with Rashad Craig in a 106.2. Then we have Zachary Hubler, who we were talking about, followed by Dan Piazza, or joined by Dan Piazza in row 3. Row 4 finds Charles Sears and Publio David. Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's from Brazil.
Yeah.
Then in row 5, we have Josh Brain and Will Weiser. Row 6, we see Clint Morning and James Barclay. Row 7, we can see Roberto Pancaldi and Laura Gerhardt. In row 8, we have Pascal Ribi and Fabian Jaroszkowski.
That was one of the ones. That was one of the ones we were discussing in the pre-race.
So sorry,
we are sorry.
Then we can find in row 9 Dale Weiser and Clever Botaro Moda. In row 10 we see Cedric Ribai and Sahash Pabiar. Row 11 we can find Oliver Felsky and Rylan Richard. And then in row 12 we see Christian Hildgaard and Jay Schultz. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see how Christian, that number 4 car, makes his way through the field. It's like we were talking about, it's not necessarily easy to pass here. And there seems to be a big pace difference as the Rylan Richard, who is going to be starting P22, he did a 1:10 for qualifying, which, I mean, it's not really bad for race pace, but for qualifying, it's 4 seconds off the pace. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how they manage that.
All right, we had Teams radios on. We will turn that off for the sake of the more innocent ears out there, just in case. Okay, we're back and we are underway, as I think we're moving now.
We're rolling.
They're rolling. And there we got Dory in a new Old Dogs livery. Right next to him, Kevin Burrell. Andreas Eick. Rashad Craig doing double duty today. He is currently currently P5 on the provisional lineup here for the Open Wheels 500. So good for him. I don't see anyone else really in the race here that is on the grid yet there, but he has made the trip, virtual trip from Indianapolis down to Birmingham. It's about 6 hours straight down Interstate 65, but I'm sure he hit the virtual jet.
Well, that's a good thing about sim racing. We can just move from one side of the world to another just a fraction of a second.
There is the track map. A very interesting and diversely shaped course here.
It flows great. Like when you're driving it on your own, like when you're hot lapping, I don't think anything comes close to how great it flows from corner to corner. It's great. Then it makes it tough to, go side by side with other cars. But on your own, it's a lot of fun. And when you nail a lap, it's so satisfying. This section right here, that's so fast. Like you probably would think that you would need to brake, but no, you actually have to hammer it down a little bit.
A little bit of a dog leg there, turn 12, yep.
Here in 12, entering 14. The numbering is weird, as we know, with all tracks.
Typically, that's American tracks. They like to be like that.
And we're ready to go.
We are ready to go, yeah. They're pretty well. They're in good formation. And Dory takes off and look to the inside there. Here comes Principal Dan to the inside of Rashad Craig, and they're still side by side.
Yep, he has got a hell of a start there.
Yeah, he got a good jump. But you know what? That might have a... Oh, my gosh. He's going to go make the run to second. He's going to dive to the inside of Ike. No, he's going to be the inside of Burrell. He'll work his way up to third. Now he's up to second. And this is a great start for the Old Dogs team. Oh, my goodness. And you know what? I would willing to bet here that that start between the two of them was definitely planned. And when Dory said he was going, I bet you Principal Dan there, they were on the radios together, and he was going as well. So that is a benefit of having your teammate on the pole.
Yeah, and for a second, they were 3 wide between Hubler, Sears, and I think it was Publio David entering turn 5, which was...
we got a car spinning. That's Charles Sears. He is... nose is off. He's going to try to limp that one back to the pits and get a replacement nose. They can do that. Doesn't look like he has any suspension. Oh, yes, he does have suspension damage. This could be day done for the Sears car.
Yeah. And that's something else. Especially the first couple of laps, the cold tires really matter. There is somebody else spinning out there. Wow.
Will Weiser.
Dale Weiser, I think.
Yeah, Will Weiser is off in the turn 2 area. He's back on the way. Doesn't look like he has any damage in that AlphaTauri livery.
But yeah, I mean, going back to what I was talking about, cold tires really matter here. Since it's so twisty and there are so many things that can potentially go wrong until you get up to temperature, maybe it's a little better to take it easy the first couple of corners, the first couple of laps, and then hammer it down.
Yeah, for those that aren't familiar, we have 2 tire compounds here for the Indy cars when they race on road courses. Used to be back in the old days, they would have tire compounds at all the races, even the ovals. But now just 2 tire compounds at the at road courses. They have a primary and an alternate. The primary is best seen by having the black sidewall tires. There you're watching Dory right now. You see the red sidewall tires. Those are the alternate tires. And those are the softer, I would say faster, but less durable tires, and they would quickly go off after about 10 laps or so. And then there's a bit of a trade-over where those that are on the prime tires will start picking up pace, and those on the alternate tires start losing pace. Right now we're watching Dory as he navigates through the really quick chicane portion, 6, 7, 8, and 9 area. But right now the first car on prime tires, let's take a look at him, is Josh Brain. I hope I'm saying that right. He is sitting there in the Indy 500 champion livery there, Marcus Ericsson. He is the first car on the prime tires. You see black sidewall tires there.
Yeah, running P7, and the top 6, they're all in reds. I didn't see that much of a difference between the tires. I mean, what you said still applies. The alternate will go away before the black ones go away, but there isn't that big of a gap of difference. Maybe half a second once they're gone, to even a second if you're keeping them on for a very long time. And we're looking here for the strategy. I think this time around I got it right, as opposed to last week where I got it all botched. But this time around it's pretty straightforward. They're going to be split into half. These tanks should last around 22 to 25 laps. I will see that these drivers will start going into the pits at lap 20 to 25, or that would be around the window, and they would just swap the compound from the alternate to the primary, and vice versa if they're on the primaries.
Fuel to the finish and new set of tires. We're probably looking at one stop. You're right. Let's get back up front. Dory has worked his way up to a 3.2 second lead. Right behind him, Team Talent's Andreas Eich. One of my fellow countrymen from Norway there. And he is currently navigating the course here with Principal Dan and P3 right behind him. If anyone wondering why I call him Principal Dan, Dan is a headmaster at a school in the Monza area. Actually, not too far. His school is not too far away from the Monza course itself. So that is his home course. And what
unlike Martin Truex Jr., who every track was his home track. Sorry, that's a dig at NBC. I'm sorry. Anyway, I see Kevin Burrell getting really close to Dan, Principal Dan there.
We're watching that battle right here. Kevin Burrell. He's made the jump from racing on the Gran Turismo on the PlayStation to iRacing. And he has done it successfully, and he is bringing other people with him, including, let's look at P10, Christian Hilgard. He has worked his way up to P10 all the way from the back of the field. He is up 13 spots. These teammates pretty much dominated Fuji all last week.
And he's on the bottom trying to make a move on Pascal Ribai.
And he did not make it easy for him. A lot of room here in turns 2 and 3. Very wide course.
Yeah, he's got the preferred line here.
Yeah, he does.
Be able to
over the hill.
Clear him. I'm not sure if Pascal is going to try and come back. No,
Pascal just gets in line behind.
Probably a smarter thing to do, especially since, it's lap 6. Plenty of racing to go. And I think that's also the key to how Hilgard moved up so many positions. He was patient. I mean, he didn't really do anything crazy. I was watching him closely. He wasn't making any crazy moves or putting himself in danger. He was just benefiting from other people's mistakes and
that's how you do it, yeah.
And now he's all the way up to P9 and closing in on Clint Martin there for P8.
Clint Martin in the Scours livery, different Scours livery this week. I've seen the traditional red, white, and blue. I've seen the orange and white car. Now we have a black and white Team Scours car. So they got different liveries out there. Very classy. But he is running him down at the moment. Currently, Hildegard about a second behind him right now. Let's get it into intervals, and we'll let you know actual
in the
gap.
Meantime, Diane Piazza just went by Andrea Saik, and now Kevin Burrell wants to follow. They're going side by side into the corkscrew.
Oh, that's not the place to do it. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
typically not a passing zone.
Wow. That is some great car control by both of those gentlemen right there. And also now getting into the picture, Rashad Craig.
Yeah, just behind these guys. Again, entering this very fast section.
Rashad Craig is the Division 1 points leader after missing Fuji last week. He's like, I talked to him before Fuji last week, and I said, are you going to race? He goes, no, I don't even have the track. And that was after doing 75 laps on the Indy road course with the Open Wheels 500, which had an incredible strength of field of like a 4,400 or 4,500, something like that, where, every single battle on the race course was just an absolute, tooth and nail battle. And he's like, no, I'm done. I'm not racing.
Yeah, this is it's taxing. I mean,
it is. It is.
I mean, you get tired. I mean, when I did the Indy 500, for example, I mean, after that, I was like, I'm done. I don't have any energy left for today.
When I did my first fixed Indy, I can't tell you, first of all, how nervous I was to start. But second of all, exactly what you're saying there is how you're not physically exhausted necessarily.
No,
I mean, you're sitting in a chair, and what the worst that might happen is that your butt hurts because you were sitting in a chair for so long.
For so long.
But really, it is mentally tasking because you're playing for 200 laps, 2.5 hours, a game of mental chess of when you can make your move, when you can make your move, when you should make your move, when the car in front of you is going to make that move that you can counter with. I mean, there's just so many things going on there. And these guys in the Indy Open Series, when you're in top splits, I mean, that's racing that week like that every single week. And we see Ike locking it up there as he's getting into the spider turn there. When they say that this is just a video game and it's no big deal, I would gather and I would challenge those people to get into the game and then hook up a heart monitor and just through an Apple Watch or something and watch your pulse rate increase as you get down to, you know, just doing a start or trying to pass a car or watching a wreck in front of you. It's real. It's real. The heart thinks it's real.
Yeah, no, it for sure is. And if you're racing, for example, in VR, then it takes it to a whole different level of immersion and whatnot. But yeah, the heart monitor thing you're saying, that's absolutely true. I race with one, and I can always see it spiking whenever I'm in, you know, tough situations, or for example, the entire race almost. Now that the IndyFix series was at Talladega. Well, maybe not the entire race, because for the most part I was just biding my time at the back of the track. But once you start going, then, you know, it spikes all over. So yeah, it is mentally exhausting, and kudos to these guys that are great at doing it. Took my eyes off of Hildegard for a second, and now he went
up to P8. He's up to P8, yeah.
Martin, but then looked like Martin had an issue. He's back in P12.
Yeah, it is easy to get an off, or especially when you hit some of these curbs, to unload the backside of the car.
Yep. Yeah, this track is, I mean, it can really upset the car, those curbs. If you get them, you know, if not exactly right angle, then they can toss the car out, and you can also lose it under braking. So there are many things that can go wrong in a lap. And also thinking about lap traffic, I was looking at some of the guys that were trying to give way and let everyone by. They were almost braking and just stopping the car in the middle of the track. That's not a good idea, but I also can understand where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing, because there are not very many places that you can hide in these courses.
No, there's not. I mean, you have four pretty decent long straightaways here. Of course, 16-1, the main straight. From 4 to 5 is a pretty decent straight. From 5 with the dogleg at 6 to 7 is a pretty decent straight. And then from 11 to 12 is an also decent straight. But some of those, there's elevation changes that you can't see over. Sometimes the track narrows a little bit and you can't, there's not quite the room that you thought there was. It is a challenging course to get by lap traffic, but lap traffic is being pretty respectful this week. We did not see lap traffic, or at least penalized traffic, be very respectful at all during the second race of the Indy Opens, or the Indy Fix race. We did a surprise doubleheader at Talladega on Monday, and the leader decided to pull a Scott Goodyear and pass the pace car on a last lap restart. And then the car stayed engaged the entire lap and then wrecked all the leaders coming to the checkered flag. But you should check that out. Check that out on the channel. That was a pretty exciting race. We got a lot of views with that one already, so a lot of curiosity of IndyCars at Talladega. But both races were pretty well behaved. I think the first race we only had 2 cautions. The second race, I think we only had 1 or 2 cautions as well. So top split guys did some pretty clean racing at Talladega, where we don't have fenders.
Yeah, we don't. And I mean, the good thing about Talladega is it brings a lot of people that might just find a car and be like, oh, this is actually pretty cool.
This is going to be real easy. This is IndyCar's at Talladega, yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not. You cannot bump up. I've seen a lot of people trying to do that.
Yeah,
it always ends up terribly wrong.
There's no bump drafting. There's no side drafting here on these cars. You're just straight up traditional drafting. And then seems like, especially at the end of the super stretch there at Talladega, you can get the nice big run off of turn 2 and pull even and actually get a wheel out in front of the leader. And then, especially if you're in the third lane up high, it's just like a wall of air. Just all of a sudden grabs your car and it just pushes you right on back.
Yeah. Sorry, Rashad Craig just muscled his way
we're
by
watching,
Andreas E.
We're starting to see these battles here as actually Kevin Burrell is all over Principal Dan at the moment.
Yeah, very close battles for P2 and P4. Oh, Burrell goes a little wide.
Keeps a good car control, loses a little bit of distance between him and Principal Dan.
Yeah, but luckily not that much. Only like maybe a couple of tenths there.
Yeah.
He's going to have enough time to regroup and try
Craig
again.
on push to pass. He's trying to pull away there from Ike. Zachary Hubler, Mr. Division 2. He is sitting there in P6. And it looks like that he now is a teammate with Kevin Burrell and Christian Hilgard, as they're all sharing the same livery. Of course, Hubler for the longest time was racing in a Formula One livery, and we gave him grief about it.
Yeah, that,
and then he moved to Scott Dixon's car,
right?
and he did pretty well there. And it looks like he finally got picked up by a proper team. And he is definitely showing that is well rewarded, is that everybody from this team, and I'm not quite sure what the team name is, so they might have to tell me. But everybody from this team, the Burrell, Hubler, and Hildegard team, all in the top 10 at the moment.
And now that you mentioned Hildegard, he's really close now to Josh Brain there for P7. So he's been making great progress since the drop of the green. And as for Hubler, I think he's done an amazing job every single week that we've
he's done great
these races. I mean, we don't typically see him fighting others or necessarily putting himself in dangerous or precarious positions. Typically, we find himself like on his own, like in an island. But that's great. That nets you awesome results. And he's doing it again, running P6. Really not that far from Andreas Sieg, though. Closing in, even. And then he has a massive lead of 11 seconds to Josh Brain there in P7.
Yeah, if you want to ask, if everyone asks, like, hey, I want to be on a team, I want a teammate, how come I'm not on a team? If you want to be on a team and you want to be noticed, is doing it the way that we saw Zach Hubler doing it, doing it the way that we saw Christian Hilgard last week doing it, is that you kind of develop a reputation on your own, and that is quickly recognized and picked up by other drivers in the series. And if there's an opening on a team, they will quickly give you an invitation, snatch you up, especially if you show that consistency that these teams often look for here on these courses. And you don't have to win, it's just being consistent.
Yeah, consistency wins championships, as we were saying with Hubler there in Division 2. And yeah, for sure, the reputation thing is massive. It's much more important than being fast, I would say, because a lot of people can be fast with the right setup, but not everyone can have that right attitude of, proper racing etiquette, knowing when to push, knowing how to push, and when to be aggressive. So, yeah, for sure.
And we're watching Dory working his way around lap traffic. And since he's cleared that successfully, here are the Division 1 Championship standings. Rashad Craig, is your leader by a pretty decent margin over Kevin Burrell. Both are in this race today. John Betaferer in P3. Will Lyon not in the lineup again today. Anders Sandberg not in the lineup. Adam Blocker not in the lineup. Chris Wilhite not in the lineup. Actually, just about everybody with the exception of the top two. So the top two taking the fight to the Saturday Strength of Field race. Everyone else taking this one off. That is your points for Division 1. And yes, here are the Division 2 points. Zachary Hubler is your leader by about 85 points over Ryan Stark. Who is the latest driver we've kind of given a little bit of grief to, as he's in the M&M's car.
Yeah.
and I did suggest that I did put a picture on the Race First Discord server of the Interstate Batteries IndyCar that ran in the early 90s, and he picked up on it, but he's like, who doesn't like M&M's? And you know what? It's a good point. Who doesn't like M&M's? But
that is true.
Makamoto Yamasaki, Clint Martin, who's in today's race, Richard Holt, Rob Uglinix, Masato Shimizu, Charles Shears, unfortunately, who is out of today's race, Nathan Reese, and Frankie Franchica, who we've seen in other series here on Race First. He is in P10 in the Division 2 Championship. Only 3 races to go after this: Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, and then we finish on the oval, just like in the old IRL days, at Texas.
Is it old Texas or new Texas?
Well, it's new Texas, but the old IRL days, they used to have a second season Indy race at Texas where they would crown a champion. They did that for, I think, 98 to 2003, 2004. Where they had the final race there. Originally, the plan for the IRL was to end races at Indianapolis. Well, that's kind of hard to end a race that's in May for your season. And then for the first couple of seasons, the champion was crowned at Vegas. But after that, then they moved to a second date at Texas Motor Speedway. And we have Dory on pit road, and I'm wondering if his teammate's coming in with him. No, he isn't, but Kevin Burrell is, and this is a very dangerous pit in road here you got going on. You got 2 sharp turns you got to navigate.
Yeah, and it's very fast. Like, you're coming in with a lot of speed. You have to slow down, but not that much, so that you don't waste time. And yeah, then pit exit is pretty straightforward. Interesting that they're kind of splitting the strategy, both teams, because Hilbert stayed on track, and it looks like Burrell is trying to mimic whatever Dan Piazza does. He didn't have the best stop there.
Dory puts on the prime tires, and we'll see where Kevin Burrell pops out here. And he looks like he is on the prime tire as well.
Yeah, and he has Laura Gerhardt in front of him.
Laura gets right out of the way. That's very nice of them. Very, very good etiquette. Car off into the turn 5 area.
Oliver Felsky. And now he's waiting for everyone to go by.
That's good. Good safe rejoin.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of cars all of a sudden get off, and they're like, "Oh, I got to rejoin immediately." And here comes like 8 liters coming around the next corner.
Oh, yeah. Andreas Eek is now on pit road.
It's Ike.
Ike. Okay,
yeah, I like Ike. I want to be like Ike. You remember those commercials like Michael Jordan, like Mike? I want to be like Mike.
Well, that's going to be a good way to remember it.
Well, the thing is, I want everyone to go and find that commercial on YouTube after the race. And anytime now you hear Andreas Ike's name, it's just like you hear the song, like Ike. I want to be like Ike, you know.
Jingles.
Hey, we're trying to give as many people nicknames here in the series. Some catching on, some aren't catching on. I told after yesterday's, there was a primetime race at Talladega, Indy fixed, and Pinero was in the lineup, and he took it 4 wide through the tri-oval, and I said, "You have a new nickname now." And he's like, "What is it?" And I said, "It's 4 wide Pinero." I think he told one of the guys, well, I wanted to take it 4 wide, but I wasn't sure. And my response to my teammate, it was my teammate actually that got the response back from him, and I said, reply back with this exact words: when is going 4 wide ever a good idea?
Unless it's the last lap. I mean, it's probably not gonna work.
No, and it wasn't on the last lap either, but it was getting down there to the nitty-gritty time. But Pinero saw a bit of a I want to maybe I'm not quite a hack, just no one else was attacking it, is going to the tri-oval. The fourth lane opened up, so he just scoots on up there, and then when you come off the tri-oval, you lose that fourth lane, and so that guy in the third lane all of a sudden realizes there's a guy on the outside, and they just kind of lit up and let that guy go, and he picks up a position, and we're back to 3 wide racing around Talladega, which is still pretty insane as it is. But anyways, he found a little bit of an exploit and was exploiting it, but after a while people were slamming the door on him up in the tri-oval.
Right.
We are watching Ike here, but back to the leader is Rashad Craig now, as he is 22 laps into his current stint, so he is going long. Zachary Hubler worked up into the P2 position here, going long. Josh Brain, I'm sure he gets that all the time. He is up into the third position, 21 laps into his current stint. So again, he is going long, but everyone behind them to the to actually P8, where Pascal is, and there's Pascal. Pascal is 21 laps into his stint. Clinton Martin, 21 laps. Cedric, 21 laps into his. There they are. We get some people that we haven't really shown on camera at all yet today. Dale Weiser, Roberto
Pancaldi. I was looking at Pascal and Cedric. They're both Rebuy, so I'm guessing they're brothers or they're related somehow, since both are from that Deutschland, Austria, Switzerland group. So nice to see family racing together.
It's good to see Roberto's in an IndyCar lineup. There seems to be a good history, with the exception of just the bad luck Roberto Guerrero had.
Oh, man,
Roberto's in IndyCar racing, yeah. And he is in that Verizon Verizon Dallara, that would normally be driven by a Team Penske driver. Very slick looking.
Penske perfect.
That is right. That is a phrase. Penske perfect. Of course, Penske, it should go without saying, and with big time congratulations to the captain, who is the kind of the head of the NTT IndyCar Series anyways, and the owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The first time of anyone in modern era auto racing to win the NASCAR Cup Series Championship and the IndyCar Series Championship.
Yeah.
And you would have thought he would have done that before. And we're watching this battle here with Roberto and Weiser. Roberto down to the inside in turn 5. You would have thought before that the captain has done that. But really, the captain only has 3 Cup championships. He didn't win any with Rusty, which that kind of shocks a lot of people. You think he maybe would have won one with Rusty. He didn't. But and the fact that the 2 other ones he had didn't correspond with him winning something in the IndyCar Series Championship, because his drivers are always right there at the end. Is really shocking, but his driver Joey Logano in the Cup Series won the Cup Championship, and then Will Power, of course, won the IndyCar Series Championship. So, and here's Roberto going into the pits there. So we'll get back up front. Rashad Craig still turning laps, and he is on a well-used set of red tires at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, his times are not really that bad at all.
No,
I mean, he just did a 108.1. Compared to Kevin Burrell or Dan Piazza, they were both in the 108 bracket as well. Low bracket, but
he's in the pit road right now, and Hooper's with him on pit road. Yep.
Let's see if Josh Brain also joins him, or if he tries to lead a lap.
We're watching Brain right now. I think 24 is the extent. Yeah, he's coming in too. Careful. There he gets in there.
I mean, if you saved enough, you could potentially try and lead a lap, but I mean, there really is no benefit from doing it.
Well, here comes Dory.
Let's see where these guys merge.
Dory is going to take back the lead. Kevin Burrell is up to P2. Rashad Craig coming out P3. Now we're going to see a battle here for fourth as Craig is trying to come up to speed with cold prime tires. He is on push to pass. Principal Dan behind him coming down to turn 5. We're going to see if he can make up any move before these tires start to get up to temperature. I think he's going to be able to hold them off. He has a bit of a decent cushion there, so a great stop by the IAR crew, getting out Rashad in front of his main rival on the racetrack, Dan Piazza, Principal Dan, and moved Dan down to 4th. Ike still in 5th, Hubler 6th, Hildegard 7th, Brain, 8th, Weiser 9th, Clint Martin in the Scours car in 10th. Currently have 19 cars still on the track at the moment, showing Rylan Richard, Pueblo David. Oh, look how wide he went there with those cold tires.
Yeah, I was about to mention that it seemed to have worked for both Hubler and Craig hitting late because Craig went by Piazza and Hubler got really, really close to Andreas Ike under a second. Although he's losing it right now. Oh, what a save there! What a save from Hubler. He was completely sideways. Pretty much anyone else would have lost it. That's a great move from him. Now, I mean, he's lost all track position to Ike.
But he's got some time still. We have half the race to go. So he's still can reel him in if he needs to. Showing in 20th is Ryland Richard, 21st Pablo David. Thanks for helping me say that last name properly from the regional aspect of where he's from. Otherwise, it would have been Pablo David. Charles Sears in 22nd, Sadish Padehar 23rd, and James Barkley 24th, rounding out the 24-car field. 24-car split, not a bad showing here at the 1 p.m. Eastern Time split here on Saturday. Thanks for joining us. This is Race First coverage of the Indy Open Series brought to you by Team Watson Racing Setups. And with that said, it's probably time to get a word in here from Team Watson Racing.
Yeah.
We are back, and we've picked up the battle here at the front between Dory and Kevin Burrell. This is a battle for the lead as Burrell has run down Dory and now is directly on his 6th at the moment and getting closer look, we're even closer right there as they're working through turns 2 and 3.
Yeah, 500th this time by, but last time by it was 4 tenths. So yeah, Kevin Burrell is there and closing in, even if it's just a tiny bit. They both lock up a little bit. Great exit there from both, a great run. But now Burrell is closer than ever, entering now the corkscrew. Dory is able to get into power a little earlier than Burrell, so he gets a tiny bit of breathing room.
And I think, don't look now, but I think Rashad Craig is starting to work his way into that. Last time by for him, a 108 flat.
There we go, 6 tenths quicker than these guys.
Oh, and Dory locks it up going to the final corner. And there you see on that in-car, yeah, on that in-car camera shot, you saw the green light up on the dash, and that is push to pass. Now that he didn't get a chance to use much of it, but he used it. He is down to.
I think Dory made a tiny move to the left. I think that startled Burrell, and he lifted up the throttle, and that disengages that push to pass. So essentially, he lost one.
Yep. So he has 5 left. the push-to-pass situation, and Rashad Craig is there.
And they're coming in on lap traffic.
And that is...
Laura Gerhardt.
All right, Laura's out of the way. Clear. Yeah.
But then they have some others. Maybe not. They're not going to be able to catch him this time but perhaps in
17 and the 12. Yeah, that's Fabian Gero. And I saw him leave a message in chat, and it just says... it just basically says Fabian Gero, so maybe that's his nickname. So we'll just go with Gero.
That works for us.
It works for us. It works for us. If he has his own nickname, give it to us. But Gero and Weiser is sitting there in 14th and 15th, up ahead of this battle, and they're in a battle for position as well.
Yeah, so they're not gonna play it as cool as Laura has. Getting out of the way. Because they're on a fight of their own, and Birel locking up really, really deep there. Last time by, the fastest of the group was Dory, by 2/10 over Rashad Craig.
Yeah, that sure helps when you're leading the group, not trying to run the group down. Oh, Dory, what did you guys run off in the grass?
What in the hell? That was so weird.
I don't know if he just momentarily lost focus, but he recovered it. Great car control, but that has got to hurt the momentum, and now Burrell's got to see blood in the water.
Yeah, for sure. At this point, you're like, okay, it's time to attack, time to get him. But at the same time, Rashad Craig is there.
109 flat. Burrell a 108.8. Rashad Craig 108.7. Principal Dan a 109 flat. All your fast cars are in this. Actually, your fastest car, I believe.
And Dory, they make contact, and that plays well for Rashad Craig. He's now going to benefit from that. Oh, man, turn 5.
All right, we got to go back and look at that one. I'm not sure how much Burrell had contact or who was that? Hubler had contact.
No, it was Burrell. It was Burrell with Dory.
All right, we'll go back in time here and see that. We got time to go check that one out. And,
just entering turn 5, Kevin Burrell is trying to make a move for the lead, but that space, that's a racing incident.
That's netcode.
Mostly netcode, but I think they were gonna hit either way. They were both going for the same real estate, basically. Yeah,
but it was a netcode, and we now see Dory coming into the pits to possibly get any damage addressed, and this may be day done for the Italian. We're not sure if Kevin Burrell is making that move on the pit road or not. We still see him on the race course. He is already past pit road, so he is either going to go another lap or he feels he is okay.
I don't think he's really damaged. I don't really see any damage on his car.
Okay, so we got to reset things here as we just got a bit of a lot of action. Rashad Craig now is your leader as a result of that incident in turn 5. Principal Dan now moved up to second. Unfortunately, he is now the only old dog car left probably in position in this race for a podium spot. Andreas Eich just very patiently here in the team talent car, keeping his car out of trouble. And what do you know? He's been in the top 5 all day, and now he is in the top 3 on the bottom step of the podium. He is now 3rd. Hubler, he is a man on the charge at the moment. He is up to 4th. Kevin Burrell, all the teammates are together, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I was getting ready to say Christian Hildegard was fastest on the racetrack at the moment. He had a 107.6 right before that collision. So he is a man on the move at the moment as well. And once again, I do want to thank Kevin for opening up the doors for IndyCar to some of these other drivers that normally wouldn't be here. Christian Hildegard's one of them. And welcome all these new drivers to the series. You guys have picked the right car and the right series to participate in here on iRacing.
Yeah, you sure have. I don't think there's a better car than this one in the service, honestly. I mean, I may be biased, but truth of the matter is, on both road courses and on ovals, no car matches this one. Anyway, that has certainly made a change on all the things that we were watching. By the way, Kevin Burrell was apologizing on chat. I don't think it was his fault per se. I would say it's more of a racing incident, like we were talking
Definitely
about.
a racing,
big ass netcode that we saw.
Definitely a racing deal. Hey, real quick. Still, according to YouTube analytics, 40% of you watching right now, which is actually pretty good. That means 60% of you are already subscribers, but 40% of you are not. Please do us a solid. We are on our continued march to 1,000 subscribers, and we are only 19 away, right? 19 away from getting to that mark. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, turn that red button gray, hit the bell, and you'll be doing us a big favor as we are on our march. Oh! Craig getting squirrely through 13 and 14. He gave up a lot of track position. Here comes Principal Dan. He's right with him.
There's battles all over the track here. Zachary Hubler has really caught up with Andreas Ike. He was being, slowed down a bit from one of those lap cars, but well, now they separate a little bit more. But nothing is settled. Nothing is set in stone. We have around 7 to go, and things could go either way. And I agree. If you subscribe, you're going to see all this awesome content that we're bringing you.
Right, we're a bit of a slow season right now. We just got the Indy Open on Saturday and the Indy Fixed Championship Strength of Field race on Mondays. But very shortly here, we will be starting here in December at Miami Homestead Miami Speedway, the winter 2022-2023 season of the Revolution Indy League Schaefer IndyCar Series, their Schaefer's Cup there. And that will start kicking off here in December 7th, Wednesday, December 7th. And that quite possibly, there's a pretty good hierarchy of fixed leagues out there. And the RIL Schaefer's IndyCar Series is very easily in the top 5 competitive-wise of all the fixed IndyCar series out there. So you want to check that out, either as a participant or as a viewer here on Racers. That's Wednesdays. You'll see that starting December 7th right here, and it will be myself and Ryan Eric King from Jalopnik.com. He will be me and him in the booth doing play-by-play for the RIL season. Defending champion there is Nicholas Johnston. He will have the #1 banner going into next season. So watching the leaders here, we've got Craig and Principal Dan. 7 laps to go here at Barber Motorsports Park. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Make sure to click the like button. You've seen a heck of a race so far. These guys have fought every bit of the way here at this facility. 42 laps here of hard racing all race long.
Yeah, and Hildegard has now caught up with Kevin Burrell. I'm not sure how Kevin Burrell is going to play this. I mean, they're teammates, but I'm sure that he's still in that maybe weird headspace of, oh no, I had an incident and blah. So, I mean, maybe I'm speaking for myself a little bit, but sometimes we're self-deprecating, and that really takes us off, the current task at hand. But now Hildegard is 3 tenths behind Burrell.
And there's Jarrow. They work around Jarrow, who's in the 13th spot. Now, I mean, there is a big picture here that if these team cars do want to work together, and I know a lot of people don't like team orders, but I mean, it might be right now. Hubler is the leader in Division 2. I don't see him wanting to give up any positions. Burrell might not want Hildegard to make a move on him, and because of his battle with Craig, who is now the leader and is on the way of looking at a possible win here. Let's not jinx him yet, but he's now 5 laps to go here on that front. And we see, looks like Dory rejoined and then drove it off into the runoff area there in turn 1 or turn 2. But might Hildegard cut Burrell a break and allow him to finish 5th and thus get higher I rating and higher points here in the strength of field race, and try to keep pace with Rashad Craig, who is the leader in the Division 1 championship. That is a possible thing we might see, but we don't know. We don't know what team orders are like for this team.
Yeah, and that would be like the logical play, right? Like, let's keep everyone where they're at. That's fine. We only have, 5 laps more, so don't even risk it. And yeah, I think that's what's going to happen, but you never know. In the meantime, Zachary Hubler, who we're just talking about, he's right on Andreas Ike's back of the car. I mean, he's there. And going to the push pass situation, Andreas Ike has 4 and Zachary Hubler has 5. So
yeah, push the pass. Not familiar with it. You can use it to attack the defend. It just adds a little extra horsepower to your car for up to 20 seconds, or until you come off the accelerator or hit the brake. That's how it kind of works. But they still have a number of pushes. Once you're done, you can't use them anymore, of course. It does. You got to be careful. It does impact fuel mileage.
It sure does. But at this point, I think they're all good to go to the end. They
I would think
could
so.
spam it if they want to. But the thing is, there are not very many places where you can keep it engaged for a long time in this track.
Probably from turn 11 to maybe 13-ish, you could. That's probably the longest stretch.
Yeah, or on the front stretch, but you're not full throttle the entire time, so it's tough. It's tough.
Still watching this battle. Kevin Burrell got a little sideways, or that might have been Hildegard sideways off of final corner there. That's Burrell, sorry.
So Zachary Hubler is now on the push-to-pass button. Andreas Ike is also on the bottom, so he's defending here. But there is a net gain of, there's a difference. Zachary Hubler has 4, Andreas Ike has 2 remaining.
He's going to try to get the over-under. Not there. Both are not on the button right now.
Oh, Zachary Hubler lifted a tiny bit before. He's going to get a rear exit, though.
Of course, we will see the NTT IndyCar Series return to Barber Motorsports Park again for the 2023 season. And, of course, that means it will be on the schedule for the iRacing IndyCar Series when that resumes and picks up in March. And, of course, we will right now tentatively continue to cover the IIS for next season. And that will typically be a Friday at 2 p.m. strength of field. Be looking forward to that and the start of the new year. And, yep, we saw what you saw.
And both on the button again.
Both on the button. All 3 of them on the button together right there. 2 laps to go.
Kevin Burrell as well.
Smoke them if you got them. These are not rollover minutes, folks. They don't get more for the next race if they don't use that here.
Last time by, Jan Piazza was a couple tenths quicker than Rashad Craig.
Well, let's take a peek up there. There is Craig. Piazza's on push to pass. 8 tenths is the margin there. You go back to Ike. It's 4 tenths there between him and Hubler. Ike is not, unless something happens to the leaders, Ike is not in a position to make up any spots on P1 or P2. Final lap. White flag in the air. And let's get back up to Rashad Craig.
Yeah, Dan Piazza was again faster than Craig there, and they're both on the push-to-pass button. As our Andreas Ike, and Hubler. I'm not sure that Dan Piazza is going to have enough time, though.
I don't think Craig really wants to see that lap car in front of him right now at this moment.
probably the last thing he wants to see.
9/10 back to Piazza. 8/10 now back to Piazza. Lap car is not going to move over for him.
Not moving.
Is that that's Cedric Reeby, and Reeby is on the lead lap, so he's trying to fight to get to this end of the race on the lead lap. I don't blame him here at this point, and he just gives up there. Rashad Craig there, right there in the final set of corners. And here comes Craig off final corner number here on the course, and he is going to win here at Barber Motorsports Park. Another win on the Indy Open schedule for the IAR driver, and your points leader here in the Indy Open Championship for Division 1 for this season.
Wow, that was great racing. Man, such a shame for Dory and Burrell for having that incident. But
yep.
Oh, and Kevin Burrell is still apologizing about it.
That Kevin's just a stand-up guy like that. I think it was more of a racing deal, but you're right. And it definitely was netcode, but you're right. There could have been contact pending, and the predictive code predicted early. But let's take a look at the final standings here at Barber Motorsports Park. Rashad Craig is your winner. Principal Dan, great finish for him. I think this is his best finish on the Indy Open Straight to Field broadcast. Congratulations to him. Andreas Eich on the bottom step of the podium. He just kind of hung out there all day long, and he gets rewarded with a bottom podium step. So good for him. And the Team Talent Squad, Zachary Hubler doing good in his Division 2 championship run. He finishes fourth. Kevin Burrell finishes fifth. Going to lose a little ground to Craig, but we'll see how much. Well, it should be a little ground, but not an awful lot. Hildegard up to P6.
What a rally.
Yeah,
what a rally from
17 spots. 17 spots for Hildegard. Brain, he is 7th. Weiser 8th. Martin 9th. The Reedy brothers. It's been a long time since we've had brothers in the IndyCar Series. Of course, we have the Unsers. We have the famous Whittingtons. But it's good to see brothers in the IndyCar Series. Roberto in 12th, Jero in 13th, Weiser. We have another Weiser here. We got Dale and Will. Dale is in 14th, Gerhardt 15th. Moving on, if we can get to the second page. There we go. Schultz, Mora, Felsky, Dory, Richard, David, Sears, Patahar, and Barclay, rounding out your 24-car field.
And I was looking, Christian Hildegard, he ended up 6.3 seconds behind Rashad Craig, and he started 23rd. So if he had set any lap, there was potential for him. You make a great point. If he would have qualified, imagine where he would have finished, and that is legit. And that's one of the things that sometimes when you get into these sessions late, that's kind of one of the things that you kind of have to fight with is what happens if you don't qualify as well and you'd have a good race. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, as they like to say. We do have Craig in the interview room. We will bring him up, our winner for today. And here he is. Rashad, congratulations. Picked up the lead with that incident in turn 5 between the leaders. Held on and got the win. Doing double duty again today. Currently, you are still... looks like provisionally, I think P4 right now on the grid at Open Wheels still. So you're doing good there, and you back that up with a win here. So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I was not expecting that. Yeah, that was Barber is a really tough place. And you either get it or you don't, and sometimes you just get lucky. And I got lucky.
Well, I mean, tell us about your race. I mean, you did pick up a position to get up in the third by a really good pit stop, and then you got up in the third, and then the action just kind of all unfolded in front of you.
Yeah, it's I noticed when I was because I was kind of just sitting behind everybody, just letting the field spread out and saving fuel, saving tires. And when they started pitting, I noticed the time wise, like I wasn't much slower. Like I was faster than I knew I normally would go on the blacks. So I just stayed out there, ran it dry. Unfortunately, caught some left traffic right at the end, which lost me a bunch of time, but still got P3 up to P3. And from there, I was quite content sitting. They started getting a little feisty up there, so I was just like, maybe something will happen, and it did. And from there, it was just hit my marks and bring it home.
Well, and the thing there is that it really happened to your chief championship rival that's shaping up to be for this season, and it was between Kevin and Dory up there. So after today, going into the final three races of the season, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, and Texas, you get yourself a little bit more of a cushion. And as we know, in these strength of field races, every point counts.
Yeah, I know I have a couple drops coming, especially a few crashes, not doing so great on certain ovals, but yeah, like this season is pretty tight. A lot tighter than normal, just because you don't see a lot of the big teams here right now, so it's like everybody else has a shot, and I've been lucky enough to be consistent enough to get good points week in, week out.
Antonio, you got anything?
Yeah, no, I was about to mention, Rashad, that you said that you were lucky, but to be lucky, you also have to be there and to take advantage of that situation. So congratulations on that. And we also saw that the car was a handful from time to time. What were you thinking about that while it happened to you? Just had to do a little bit of a slide in, I think it was turn 5 at some point. How distracting was that, and how did you manage to keep it cool?
That was actually like a technical hiccup. Like I had stutter enough to miss a braking point.
Oh, really?
Point.
Oh, wow.
Especially over the hill. That's where that happened when I went off for a little bit and lost some time to on Daniela. Other than that, the car actually felt great. Like it really oversteery, goes where you want it to go, points where you want it to point. Like the blacks are a little bit harder; they understeer a bit, mainly because it's tire temp. The track is really cool, so you can't get the heat into them as easily. But yeah, the car felt great. It was just kind of some technical things causing issues.
Well, amazing drive, no matter what, and I'm glad the car felt that great for you. It definitely showed.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to the team right now, trying to prove their positions in the open wheels and get their laps in. Lot of teamwork going on the past couple weeks for that, and even this a little bit, helping me out with this set here for a little bit. Shout out to friends and family. And that's it, guys. I'm beat.
Well, that kind of answers my closing question for you. We're going to Indianapolis now, so everything here for the next week for you is going to be all Indianapolis, all oval. Are you going to sit on your time there? That's currently, I mean, there's just less than 5 hours remaining to go on open wheels. Are you going to sit on your time there? Or are you going to go out again? And or you feel pretty confident of where you're at?
I feel pretty good. I am eyeing out going out again if certain things happen. Right now I feel like I'm in a good place. Like I'm surprisingly in a good place. I thought I would be lower than what it is, but with everybody kind of
I think everyone's waiting for a cooler track, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very much like real IndyCar qualifying going on here. Everyone is only 14 cars have put in time, and they've been on the air for quite a while. So either you get in early with the cool track, or you go in late with the cool track, and that's looked like what you did.
Yeah, I got lucky enough to be early on the draw. At first, I thought it was unfortunate because found some things in the car that might have made it better late, but then later on it felt better early. So it's like if you've been watching, like many people have said, like it's hard to tell which one's better, which one's worse. The best thing was get out early for nerds, really.
Yeah.
Let's get it over with.
Yeah, I understand. And talking with your teammate, he seems to be pretty happy about his setup. So we'll see how the entire IAR team improves over there. But man, congratulations today. Get your job done over there. Get your practice in here for Open next. Don't forget, it's Friday. We're gonna be Friday at 7 p.m. if you can make it, and get your practice laps in here for the Open Wheels 500 on Saturday. So congratulations on the win. Very well earned, and we'll catch you in a week.
All right, guys. Thanks.
So, yeah. Okay, and we actually have Principal Dan. He's here, so we're going to bring him up. And one of my favorite people to talk to, Principal Dan. Dan Piazza is here from Monza, Italy, all the way from Europe. Congratulations on the P2. That is your best finish here on the Indy Open broadcast. It's been a long time. Very good. Congratulations. I know we've talked before that your English is not that good, so just tell us about your race and how do you feel?
First of all, ciao ragazzi. I'm very happy and I'm very sad because I'm sad for Dory because he did a fantastic work and he was not able to finish the race, but I believe that he could probably win the race. But I'm very happy for me because I do a fantastic start, probably one of the best starts.
You had a fantastic start.
yeah. And then I tried to push in the final laps. I tried to catch shot, but it was very fast, very consistent. I was to the limit. I hope that some lap car could help me, but we probably have the same lap time, so I was not able to catch. Some lap 1/10 less, in one lap 1/10 more. But I know it's strange. I live in Italy, but Barber is one of my best track, and every time I can race here, for me is fantastic. So I'm very happy. Yes.
Well, before we let you go here and to go celebrate, at least it isn't not in the middle of the night when we've talked to you before in Italy where you have to wake up in a couple hours and go to school. In your own language, feel free to give out your shout outs and anything you'd like to say. I'm sure everyone would love to hear the fluent Italian on the broadcast anyways.
Ok, ragazzi, grazie a tutti, grazie a chi ha seguito la diretta. Grazie a tutti i ragazzi che hanno corso, complimenti al podio e complimenti agli speaker, ai commentatori. È sempre fantastico ascoltarli. Bravi ragazzi. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Antonio.
Thank you, and it's good having you back on the program again. Congratulations on the P2. Go celebrate, and will we see you at Indianapolis next week?
Yeah, okay. Bye-bye, guys.
Yep.
Congratulations.
I tell you, I love talking. I love talking to the guy because it makes our entire broadcast sound with you here and then him here. It's like we're all international.
And I'm energized, man. That speech, I mean, I didn't pick up.
I had no idea what he said. I think he said a couple things, but yeah.
But I mean, he has such an attitude, such great outcome and outlook, and he was so happy that it's infectious, and I'm so happy for him. That's great that he was able to jump in and talk to us a little bit.
Well, before we go, final thoughts on today, and then, of course, Indianapolis, big week coming up. and we're going to be, I believe, on the new scan. So we'll get to see the new scan for the first time here on the program. And so let's look forward second, but let's do a review first. What are your thoughts on today here at Barber?
Man, Barber, it's one of my favorite tracks. Like we were talking about, if you nail it, it flows so well. It allows for great racing, although not very many passing opportunities. But we saw battles all over the track during the entire race. We saw comers and goers, people making moves by pitting earlier, and pit strategy. Everything came into play. The push to pass situation, and the respectful and clean driving that we saw from everyone until and that's again not a dig at Kevin at all. That was netcode, and potentially it was going to be a racing incident no matter what. But it still was great racing throughout the entirety of the race, and it was nobody ever checked out. Perhaps Dory for a little bit at the beginning of the race, he was able to clear himself and have like 4-second lead. But after that, everyone came back, and we saw fighting all over. I love Barber, and I think it was a great race, close to what we were expecting.
Indy?
As for Indy, well, I mean, it's I love Indianapolis, of course, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the new scan changes anything, or if it does change anything. I imagine it will, and I imagine that the top side or the top lane that could typically be abused a little bit in the past is not going to be as strong. But we'll see. We'll have to see how it works, and if that is not viable, then it's going to be a lot more about strategy and understanding where you're at on the track than trying to make moves, because it might be a little bit tougher to pass. I foresee that it's going to be, relatively mild at the beginning of the race, but then once the drivers start getting comfortable and, heat comes into play in the tires, that we're going to see sparks fly, because at the end of the day, it's Indy, and it always is a spectacle to watch.
Looking forward to it. It's my home track. Anytime we get back here is a good week for me. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Barber is Rashad Craig, Principal Dan, and Andreas Ike. I wish Andreas was here. I would literally like to spoke with him, but he finishes third. Congratulations to all three. Join Racers again next week for round 10 of the Indy Open Series Championship as we head to the world's most famous race course at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Coverage starts with a special date and time. Remember, Friday, November 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, one more time, Friday, November 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it's all on youtube.com/racefirst. And as always, check the official iRacing schedule, RR channel, for the correct time in your area. Racefirst coverage of the Indy Open Series is sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups. Visit teamwatsonracing.com for all the setups you need for the Indy Open season. Use the code WATSPIN39, that's WATSPIN 39 for 5% off your next purchase. Hey, we love bringing these races to you. They're not easy and require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the Indy Open Series, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our Indy Open Series broadcast fund. Also, you can become a RaceFirst Patreon today. Visit patreon.com/RaceFirst to become a member. We realize times are tough and the holidays are here, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Saturdays each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceFirst with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video, just like that. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more on RaceFirst's iRacing programming, including Season 4 of 2022, the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split, which will be at Nashville Superspeedway. A little less crazy this week versus Talladega. We'll be at Nashville Superspeedway. And starting on December 7th, it's the return of the Revolution Indy League Schaefer IndyCar Series as they open their series at Homestead Miami Speedway. So make sure to smash that button and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries or learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Here's all of our Twitter handles right here at the bottom of the page. You can follow them all right there. So for Antonio Estrada and everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gazzo saying to all, thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again next week on a special day and time, Friday, November 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the next race of the Indy Open Series Championship. Good night.